If you've ever fixed a stranger's crooked shirt tag in public, reorganized a friend's bookshelf for fun, or rewritten a text message 5 times before sending it, welcome. And let me just say, you're among friends here. Perfectionists live in a very specific world. Yes, it's utterly exhausting, but it also makes life pretty entertaining. I'm Mike with List 25, and today we're looking at 25 strange things only perfectionists understand. 25. Fixing that crooked picture. Most people walk past a crooked frame without a second thought. A perfectionist doesn't get that luxury. The moment you spot it, the little tilt pulls your attention like a magnet. Sure, you can try to ignore it, but your brain is already zeroed in, pointing at that one thing that needs fixing before anything else can happen. There's a reason it feels so intense. Our minds love order because it makes a room feel calm. When something's off, even by a little, it throws the whole space out of balance. For a perfectionist, that feeling is stronger than it is for anyone else. So while the conversation keeps going, you're already making your way to the wall, giving the frame a quick little tap, and then another, and oh gee, okay, finally everything adds up. Okay, the second is straight, your mind clears, and life can go on again. 24. Seeing a typo after you've already sent the email. Anyone who leans toward perfectionism knows what it feels like when you send a message, feel good about it, and then suddenly spot a typo staring right back at you. That split second hits hard. Existential dread doesn't even begin to cover it. You'd give anything to pull that message back before everyone sees it. People who try to get things right often read too much into tiny errors, as if it says something about their effort or attention. So you sit there replaying the moment, debating whether you should correct it or pretend the universe didn't just betray you. Meanwhile, everyone else moved on 5 minutes ago, completely unbothered, while you're wondering if you should start updating your resume again. 23. Oops, I corrected you. As a card-carrying member of the grammar police, I'm sure you know this feeling well. There's nothing malicious about correcting someone. It's almost a reflex. 1 second you're listening, and the next you're fixing their grammar before your brain even checks in with your mouth. And the instant it slips out, that little knot of worry shows up. You start wondering if they're, oh God, are they annoyed, offended? Oh, did I actually hurt their feelings? The thing is, you're not trying to be superior. You just care about getting things right. You notice the finer details, and sometimes those details jump out so loudly you can't help addressing them. It's the same reason you reread your own messages before sending them. And yes, sometimes that trait bleeds into conversations too. 22. The Dealbreaker. Still on the subject of grammar, let me just say this. Don't even try to pursue a perfectionist romantically if your spelling sucks. Trust me, it'll be the shortest-lived romantic fantasy you have ever had. There is nothing that kills a perfectionist's romantic feelings faster than a text with the wrong "your." The funny part is that it has nothing to do with being snobbish. It's about wanting the person you're drawn to put the same care into their words that you do. When a message looks rushed or sloppy, it makes you wonder how much thought they put into the rest of their conversation. And while you won't admit it, you're probably really questioning their intelligence too. 21. Shoestrings can ruin relationships. Yeah, they can, and it's happened before. Now, I know that this will sound incredibly shallow and cruel, but if you happen to make it past the texting stage with a perfectionist love interest, you could still end up brokenhearted because of the way a certain shirt makes your upper arm look too short, or because you have a weird habit when you're changing lanes, or because you tie your shoelaces the wrong way, according to the perfectionist anyway. They have their own set of standards, and if you don't meet them, you'll probably end up brokenhearted, and since they're not cruel, just weird, you'll probably never even know the way you tied your shoes caused it. 20. Doing the whole group project yourself. If you've ever ended up doing an entire group project alone, you are definitely in perfectionist territory. Some of that instinct comes from standards. Wanting things done well means you care, and you feel the difference between good enough and done properly more than most people do. So when a task has your name on it, it's hard to sit back while someone else delivers something that feels rushed or sloppy. Instead of hovering or nagging, you jump in and take over. And for some perfectionists, that pressure ties to pride. When the final product goes out into the world, you want it to reflect the effort you put in. That's why group projects leave you exhausted. You're carrying the quality of the whole thing on your shoulders, simply because you don't trust half-baked work to represent you. 19. Not letting anyone help at home. There's a real reason perfectionists struggle with letting others handle simple tasks. When something in your space is folded wrong, placed crooked, or done in a way that doesn't line up with how your brain organizes things, your mind catches the flaw immediately, and once it's noticed, it's impossible to ignore. Many people don't see the difference between done and done properly. For perfectionists, though, that gap is huge. Watching someone load a dishwasher at random or shove clothes into a drawer can feel like nails on a chalkboard, and that's putting it mildly. So the perfectionist would usually rather do household chores themselves before they have to redo them anyway. Plus, it saves them the emotional turmoil. 18. Always arriving early. Most of us don't mind sliding into an appointment right at the scheduled time. A perfectionist, however, will get antsy long before that point. Arriving early isn't a preference for them. It's the only way the moment feels calm instead of rushed. They like having extra minutes to settle in. When they can check where they need to be, look around, then ease into the situation, everything feels smoother. That bit of breathing room sets the pace for the rest of their day. And without it, everything feels off. Perfectionists don't thrive on last-minute scrambles. They'd rather show up ahead of schedule, feel prepared, and know they're starting on the right foot instead of rushing through the door with their heart racing. 17. Cringing at your old work. Most perfectionists can't look at their old work without feeling a little embarrassed. You open something you made a while back, and the first thing you notice is everything you would fix now. It doesn't matter that you were doing your best at the time. All you see is the rough parts that don't match your standards anymore. Other people might call it progress. You just see something you don't want your name attached to. The funny thing is, this reaction gets stronger the better you get at what you do. The more you learn, the harder it is to look at where you started. So, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, give a perfectionist a bit of space and they'll redo the whole thing from scratch instead of trying to appreciate the growth. Seriously, go ahead and watch my very first List 25 video ever. 25 facts about, 25 strange wedding traditions. That's what it is. I sound a little different. I was trying to make it sound like David so that you guys wouldn't be so shocked by the change. So I know why I did it. Doesn't make it any less cringy. 16. The vault of unfinished projects. Perfectionists don't just have a few old drafts lying around. They usually have an entire hidden stash. Notes, half-written ideas, photos, designs, and chapters all hidden away in a folder or cabinet because something about them didn't feel right. The funny thing is that you didn't quit because you were bored. You quit because the second you spotted something you couldn't fix right away, the entire project lost its shine. So the drafts stay hidden. The photos stay unposted. The projects sit untouched for months because you'd rather keep them private than share something that doesn't meet your own standards. And by the time you do get around to them again, you've already convinced yourself they need to be rebuilt from scratch. Also a very ADHD problem, not just perfectionists. 15. You take everything to heart. Perfectionists have a very specific kind of sensitivity that most people never spot. Psychologists call it social perfectionism, and it basically means you can't stand the idea of someone seeing your flaws. You don't just want things done well, you want to come across well. So when someone makes a perceived negative comment, even a small one, your brain treats it like a spotlight on something you missed. And that's where the spiral starts. You replay the incident, pick apart what they meant, and second guess your own reaction. You don't want people to see the cracks, so every crack feels like a crisis. What makes it funny is that you'd never point out someone else's small flaws. I mean, you never said anything about that guy or gal that tied their shoelaces the wrong way. But let someone say one slightly off comment about you, and your brain files it under urgent. 14. Taking chances is hard for you. There are people who love diving into new things just to see what happens. Perfectionists are not those people. Whenever a new idea shows up, their brains don't think about the fun or the possibilities. It jumps straight to everything that could go wrong. And a lot of that comes from how you view failure. High achievers see failure as a part of the process. Perfectionists see anything less than flawless as failure, full stop. So trying something new isn't exciting. It's stressful. If a perfectionist can't see a clear path to doing it well, their instinct is to step back rather than deal with the disappointment of falling short. 13. Never good enough. Perfectionists have a strange relationship with praise. Everyone around you can look at something you did and call it incredible, and you'll smile and nod while you keep thinking about the one thing you wish you'd done better. You don't see the overall win the way other people do. You see the corner you didn't round perfectly, the sentence you could have tightened, the detail nobody even noticed. And once you think about it, that is all you can focus on. The applause barely lands. The compliments feel nice, but they never fully sink in because part of you is already rewriting, reworking, or daydreaming about the version you should have delivered. 12. Late night overthinking. You know those nights where you're exhausted in bed and your brain suddenly decides to replay something tiny from that morning? Yeah, you know what I mean. You remember the way you explained something at work and realize, crap, I could have said it better. Or you think about giving someone directions and now, 12 hours later, you've come up with a clearer version that no one will ever hear. Most of us will shake our heads and move on. You, however, keep circling back to how you could have handled it differently. It's almost never the big stuff that keeps you awake. It's the joke that landed weird, or the sentence that you wish you'd swapped around. Everyone else has moved on to dinner, Netflix, and sleep, while you're still rewriting exchanges that ended half a day ago. 11. You literally can't relax in a messy or disorganized environment. Some people can sit in a messy room and not notice a thing. For others, the cluttered space basically equals an alarm going off in the background. A dirty floor, papers piled the wrong way, a counter that isn't wiped down, it all starts adding noise to your head until you fix it. There's research showing that people who crave order feel calmer when their surroundings match that need, and it explains a lot. As soon as your environment gets messy, you feel it internally, and you simply won't relax until things line up the way they're supposed to. For you, outer order really does equal inner calm. Once everything is straightened, dusted, cleaned, or aligned, your whole system finally settles. Until then, there is no chance you're focusing on anything else. 10. Finding joy in lining everything up. There's a very specific kind of happiness that hits when things look exactly the way you want them to. You're the person who'll stand in front of a shelf and start lining the books up by height, then by color, then by whatever system makes the most sense in your head. Same thing at the grocery store. You'll be the one casually putting the apples and oranges into a cleaner row, while the other shoppers grab what they need and walk off. And no, most people don't notice. They don't care if the spines match or if the fruit is in perfect gradient, but you do. Other people look and see fruit or books or whatever, but to you, it's a small project that finally looks the way it should. And once it's sorted, you don't hover over it mentally, and you won't have to walk away thinking there's something you still need to do. 9. The Menu Minefield. You know that joke about choosing a restaurant being harder than choosing a career? For a perfectionist, that is not a joke at all. Something as simple as picking where to eat feels like a decision that needs a full pros and cons analysis. What if you choose a place and the food's just okay? What if there's a better option 5 minutes away? Suddenly it's not dinner anymore. It's strategy. Your brain starts lining up reviews, past experiences, and every possible outcome. And no, it doesn't matter that your friends just want something quick. You want the right lighting, the right vibe, the right level of noise, and a meal that lives up to the effort you put into choosing it. Typically, people sit down and order. You run the risks, the variables, and the odds of post-meal regret. That's why it takes you longer than everyone else to pick a restaurant, or a movie, or anything at all. 8. Fun isn't fun if you can't be good at it. Some people sign up for a casual pottery class to relax. You sign up, stare at the wheel, and immediately feel the pressure to produce a museum piece. Being average at something makes your whole system tense up, because average feels like failing in slow motion. Not that you don't want to try new things. You just hate that uncomfortable phase where your hands don't cooperate and your brain can't deliver the results you pictured. The rest of the group laughs through their clumsy attempts. You mentally calculate how long it'll take before you're even remotely competent. So when an invitation comes up for a dance class, a drawing session, or a beginner sport, your instinct kicks in. If you can't shine on day one, you'd rather stay home. To you, trying something for fun only works when your confidence isn't at stake. 7. Shopping is a full investigation. You don't browse. You investigate. A perfect shirt needs to have clean seams. A mug needs to be chip-free. A phone case with a tiny scuff is rejected without a second thought. Perfectionists shop with a level of scrutiny normally reserved for high-stakes detective work. It comes from wanting your purchases to match the standard you already have in your head. Why spend money on something that isn't as good as it should be? So you scrutinize, analyze, and compare items side by side until you find the one that looks right. 6. The way things should be done. You know that moment when someone loads a dishwasher like they're decorating a tree? Plates here, cups there, cutlery pointing in 12 directions? That's the kind of thing that makes a perfectionist brain short-circuit. There's a way that works, a way that's efficient, and a way that keeps you from having to redo it later. So when someone puts the olive oil on the wrong shelf, or better yet, puts the condiments in the front of the cupboard, you know, where it'll be knocked over every single time you reach for something, instead of in the back, a small alarm goes off in your chest. And once the alarm rings, the correction is automatic. You'll move the item back, reorganize the drawer, and carry on like nothing happened. Other people shrug at these mix-ups. You feel them in your bones. 5. Getting nothing done. Perfectionists have a special talent for spending an entire afternoon polishing a tiny detail until it shines. You start with good intentions. Today is the day, every item is going to get crossed off the list. Then you tackle the first one. Down the rabbit hole you go. Before you know it, hours have passed and you've rewritten a paragraph 6 times, reorganized the spreadsheet header, or reformatted the whole presentation because one element didn't look right. The end result looks fantastic, but the rest of the list never happened, and you'll finish the day feeling both proud and irritated. Proud because the work is flawless. Irritated because you only completed one thing, which all boils down to the perfectionist's dilemma. You can't leave anything half done. But finishing one thing perfectly never feels like enough. 4. Quitting before you even start. People tease perfectionists for giving up too quickly, but the truth is more complicated. You don't quit because you don't care. You quit because the picture in your head is so specific that anything less feels like failure before you even begin. If a project can't reach the level you want, your instinct is to step back rather than struggle through an imperfect process. Psychology ties this unproductive trait to avoidance perfectionism, where the fear of falling short outweighs the excitement of trying. Most people take a messy first draft. You'd rather leave the page blank. 3. Being the group's default planner. You never announce it, but everyone knows who's handling the organizing. It's you. Trips, meetings, birthdays, reunions, work events, travel arrangements. If details need to be sorted, your name comes up before anyone else's. Part of it is trust. When you handle the planning, nothing gets missed. But another part is comfort. You like knowing where things fit, how the day will flow, and what everyone needs to do. So you're the one making the spreadsheets, double-checking the reservations, sending reminder messages, and usually hearing things like, "You worry too much." The truth is, you step up because you know you'll execute the plan the way it needs to be done. You've accepted that you're the responsible one. And while, yes, it can be tiring, it's also rewarding when everything goes smoothly. 2. Your nitpicking constantly saves everyone else. If you've been called nitpicky more than once, but usually save your team from embarrassment, welcome to the Perfectionists Club. While others skim, you catch the mismatched date, the misplaced decimal, or the typo on page 7. It's almost instinctive. People joke about your attention to detail, but they also forward you things just to check it before sending it out. You've become everyone's unofficial safety net, the last set of eyes that ensures that no surprises pop up later. And honestly, you don't mind it. It's satisfying to spot something others missed. You know your brain is programmed to catch those little inconsistencies, and whether people admit it or not, they rely on you. It's not nitpicking, it's quality control. 1. You're always 3 steps ahead of the feedback. You don't wait for feedback because you've already analyzed your work 6 different ways before showing it to anyone. Other people worry about criticism. You rehearse it internally long before it arrives. Every flaw, every color code, every font is something you've already looked at twice, reconsidered, and edited. When someone finally gives you notes, you're rarely surprised. You're usually thinking, yes, I know, I flagged that too. You genuinely see every imperfection in your own output, and you can't turn that habit off. People assume perfectionists crumble under critique, but in your case, the opposite is true. External feedback barely dents you because nobody is harsher than your own internal editor. By the time someone points out a flaw, you've already re-envisioned the thing in your head at least 2 more times, and plus, you're already halfway through fixing it anyway. And that's it. What did I miss? Or is there anything else you'd like to add? Thank you guys so much for sticking around and spending part of your day with me. You truly are the reason this channel keeps going. And if you're up for one more round, go check out our related video, 25 Strange Facts You Didn't Learn in School. It delivers. Trust me, school covered the basics, but there's so much more you need to know. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe with that notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one.